Hey, Buttercup. Hey, Brooka. You're jumping the gun a little bit, Buttercup. Uncle Buck's not here yet, so. I know, Buttercup, I know, but you can't ask you can't ask a question of somebody who's not here. We gotta wait a little longer for Uncle Buck to actually be here. Hey, Shelly. Hey, Killface. Right now, we're all just waiting for Uncle Buck to get here. Hey, Dubs. Another day in the books. Yep. I got that. I got that, Shelly. I wonder if Buck will even be here tonight. Yeah, it's possible she won't even be here. Depending on depending on the situation. Possible that she might not be able to make it tonight. She might be busy. Hey, pause. Situation. Her daughter took a pregnancy test last night, or was going to take a pregnancy test. Uh, yeah, her daughter picked up a couple pregnancy tests, but I ended the stream before we got before we found out whether the kid's act well kid whether the woman's actually pregnant. The woman, yeah, the lady that being pregnant sucks. I would imagine so. Yeah, I wouldn't want to get pregnant. Do your best not to get pregnant. Yeah, smart choice. Some women glow and shit. And those women are assholes, right? And have ovaries are significantly easier. Some women glow, and those women are the enemy. Gestational period of various animals. A lot of supernatural fan fiction seems to really like Empreg. I've never read any supernatural fan fiction because I've never cared about that franchise. But I'm aware enough of it to know that the fan fiction for that community gets deeply fucked up. Hey, Shauna. You play? No? I've lived here. This is the same place I've been in for the past 3 years. Or however long it's been. Fan fiction is scary. I mean, I wouldn't say fan fiction is scary. There is some fucked up fan fiction. But, I mean, as a concept, it's honestly like actually pretty useful for people, like, especially like for young people learning how to write. It can be very effective writing practice. My Immortal? No. That was the Raven Ebony whatever. I've heard of it. I've heard of My Immortal. I'm familiar with it. I've never read it. But I've heard of it. And it being just absolutely wild. Giggle. Not just that, like thunderstorms, earthquakes. I mean, thunderstorms. Yeah, I've watched thunderstorms. Sure. Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way. Thank you, Buttercup. If it's pronounced Katniss. I mean, obviously, it's one of those things that's that fiction. It's one of those things that was widely mocked at the time. But I mean, while it doesn't exactly have a you know it's not exactly viewed positively now. Even now, it's I feel like people found that it had a certain charm to it. Someone writes nonsense. I lovingly enjoy bad fiction. It's just art, like The Room. Yeah, I mean, sometimes a bad story can be more fun than a good one. That's why you love Neil Breen. Fateful Findings is a cinematic masterpiece. I mean, it's what made Madam Web so fascinating. didn't know Madam Web existed. Now you do. Doesn't used to write stories based on real life, like what was going on in the Emmy. Yeah, Madam Web is not good. It's not even so bad. It's a terrible movie, and not in that like so bad it's good kind of thing. No, it's just bad, but in a way that is fascinating. Yeah, I moved Middle East. Yeah, it's it is compellingly bad. Sydney Sweeney is in it. And I'll give her credit. She seemed to be the only person who wanted to be there. Halle Berry's Catwoman. My understanding of Barry's Catwoman is that it was kind of frustratingly bad. Madam Web is more like just a train wreck you can't look away from. Yeah, like Catwoman, from what I understand, Catwoman is bad in a way that you just want to turn off. It's just like, oh god, this is so boring. This is just I don't want to watch this anymore. Madam Web is at least interesting in how bad it is. If you do not want to watch anything ever again. Hey, Donna. Hey, Foodie. The train station smelled like balls today. Yeah, yeah, that tracks. Yeah, train stations never smell particularly good. Hey, Melanie. What were you doing at the train station? Taking a train? Doing a kickstream at downtown? Having a train run on you? That one's inappropriate. Unkabuck! How's that? Can't hear you. Well, that explains it. But yes, as long as she can still read chat, she can still answer the question. Because everyone else is asking her. Can hear now, but it's lagging. You can type, you can answer. I feel like she's going to, I feel like Buck's going to, like, keep avoiding the question. I don't know. I feel like we're not going to get an answer until her power's back and audio works consistently. Hey, Catherine. Just gonna hang with that. I don't know how pregnant everyone is. I mean, I think Killface and Buttercup are going to explode, so. Get ready to fall over, but I need to keep me away for present wrapping. Oh, right, because your brother's birthday. Well, right now we're all waiting to see if Uncle Buck's going to answer the question. Shot at the other day, and his bones was on him. That's the stuff he's going to love. Nice, nice. This does suck, Uncle Buck, because you won't answer the damn question. Good night, Gettle. Hey, Gabrielle. Spider-Man 29.99 for 6 run. I remember that comic. My copies I probably threw out. Probably way behind on chat. I mean, there's people have only been asking one thing, Uncle Buck. If someone else can get pregnant, like it's a distraction, maybe. With the 29.99s. I will say that that line was kind of inconsistent. Spider-Man 2099 was great. X-Men 2099 felt like kind of a mixed bag, if I'm honest. Sometimes great, sometimes not so much. Punisher 2099 was ridiculous. Just way over the top. I don't need a jetpack. I have hate. He's not even late. I'll tell her not to bother taking. Oh. Ravage 2099 was terrible. Ghost Rider 2099 I actually quite liked. Who was the artist? Was it Ashley Allen? No. Ashley. Shit. Who was the artist? Ashley. Shit. Blanking on the artist. But yeah, he was pretty incredible. I'm pretty sure it's Ashley Woods. Ashley Woods. Ryan Gosling catching Mexico sort of role. I did see that. Yeah, Ashley Woods, like that, like his art was incredible. Story didn't even matter at that point. The art was just so fucking beautiful. And then there was Ravage 2099. That one was hilariously bad. Gotta wait weeks now, yep. Junji Ito. Nice, nice. That reminds me, I think I saw something about a collab between Junji Ito and Hello Kitty. Some let's see. Saw the ad on Twitter. It's like a figurine. Yeah, it's a one of his characters, Gyaro Tomi. So it's like, yeah. A piano stick today. Can you put the collection? Release date is like next year, so honestly, I don't really even like. I had nothing to do with Junji Ito, and even I'm like, I don't really collect figurines. Yeah, I don't really collect these sorts of statues, and even I'm like, well, even I'm kind of tempted. $18,000 yen. Budget out for there with all the new pieces and suits. Old 90s action figures. So it'd be like $160 Canadian. Apparently. He's a samurai cat who loves pizza. Samurai pizza cats. They're fighting crime all over town. 4, 3, 2, 1. Pizza cats are on the run. Definitely one of the all-time great comic cartoon intros. That one, that's an all-timer. Oh, good night, Killface. Good on that shot. Put a few comics I've been on the hunt for. First appearance of Alex before his first suit up in the... Nice, nice. You know what I find weird? Alex was adopted. Have we ever learned anything about his adoptive parents? Gotta like the chest rings. Nice, nice. Yo, it's like... These are the people who raised him. And they don't fucking matter. He never mentions them or anything. It's so weird. Maybe it's Gabriel enough either. Well, he's a divisive character. Less so now, I suppose. Just remembers his mother. Sure. But I mean, like, you know, you'd think the people who raised him would be the people he'd think of as his mom and dad, you know? He might remember his birth mother, but probably not that well. Same with his birth father. Yeah, he might remember his birth parents, but not all that well because he was pretty young. Yeah, relatively young. You'd think, but that's the problem. He was what, 8 years old? Yeah, it was what, 8 years, 8-ish, 8 years old, somewhere around there. when he was thrown out of that airplane? So, like, yeah, like, adoptive parents are parents. The fact that he spent the fact that he spent the next 10 years with this, with new parent, and he just doesn't fucking give a shit about them, like, he just doesn't care about them, that rings inauthentic. That feels, it honestly comes across as weirdly dismissive of adoptive parents. And it's not the only example of that. Wanda and Pietro. Like they've been through all sorts of, like, this is your father. No, this is your father. No, that's your father. No, he's not your father. That's your father. Like, they've gone through all those fucking retcons. But, like, the dude who actually raised them, eh, he showed up in, like, one story. And that was it. Yeah, it's just, like, they had so many, like, they had a father who raised them. They never knew, like, raised them from when they were kids, from when they were, like, before they formed memories, like, their whole lives. This is the dude who raised them. They were full grown adults before they found out that they were adopted. And as soon as they found out they were adopted, the guy who actually fucking raised them, they just tossed them. They just dropped them. Dropped them like a fucking sack of bricks. They had no more. They had no more interest in this dude as soon as they found out that, oh, you're not actually our birth father. You're not our biological father, so fuck it. Like, that's one of those, like, really stupid ones. In the case of Wanda and Pietro, the fact that they just genuinely do not give a shit about the man who actually raised them from when they were babies. Come on. It just feels like a really, like, it just feels like a very um dismissive attitude towards adoptive parents that I feel is kind of shitty. Well, I mean, in his defense, he was abducted by aliens. And, like, the last he saw of his kids, uh, they were plummeting with their parachute on fire. He didn't really have any reason to expect that they survived, given their parachute was literally on fire. You know, that two kids with a burning parachute plummeting towards the ground. Yeah, it's like, I spent, a couple years in, or he spent a while in that prison camp, and then shit got in the way. Going back to Earth to search for his kids' dead bodies probably would have, probably would have been a little bit on the heavy side for him. So he threw himself into being a pirate, which, to be fair, being a space pirate is pretty badass. Credit where it's due. Credit where it's due. Being a space pirate is badass. Pretty good excuse for a lot of things, frankly. Swear by my pretty floral bonnet, it does sound red. Yeah! Space pirate with a hot skunk girl girlfriend? The poor niece. Not the first time I've heard a woman say that. Feel like Uncle Buck probably would have enjoyed that joke if she could have heard me. But alas. First crust applesauce on the floor would be okay. 11-hour day and 5 mile jog, my shit hurts. Yep. She's lagging. Should do the D12 thing now. Yeah. Okay. True. 10 minutes to Tylenol, Uncle Buck. If you are actually even still here, who knows? You need some of that action? Yeah. Peace, love, eyes. Earlier, I saw a guy in Blue Sky talking a bit about Christopher Nolan, saying that Christopher Nolan makes great movies in the most boring way possible. Like, they're well made, they're just. They just have most of their charm washed out. Left real bad taste in it. Contradictory fart sniffer. The harshest thing he said was that about Christopher Nolan was uh, he could make a straight adaptation of Rocky Horror. So full of himself with gross. I mean, to a certain extent, I think it kind of got to be a little bit full of yourself to be a director. But yeah, he could make a straight adaptation of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Was like that one. That's cold. That is a cold line. Sort of fart sniffer. Intolerable to listen to. It wasn't always like that. Fair enough. I mean, like, the only Nolan movies I've watched were his Batman trilogy, and I found them fucking self-serious and like I did not care for his Batman films. They were movies that felt like they were full of themselves. So I'm not surprised to learn that Christopher Nolan himself is full of himself. Loved them and loved Interstellar. Yeah, I hated the Batman movies. Legitimately, I would rather rewatch Batman and Robin than any one of the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. Like, yeah, Batman and Robin is a terrible movie, but at least it's aware that it's just a fucking comic book movie. Like, at least it's aware that it's a dude dressed as a bat punching people. No, it's a bad movie. No. Batman and Robin is just bad. A scientific genius being played by Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger? Come on. With the abysmal puns. What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Fuck off. It's not even a fucking pun. Blackened ribeye, roasted squash, and cherry tomatoes with garlic butter and fresh herbs. Can you like Jim Carrey's riddle? So that was Batman Forever, which also was not a great movie. I actually did think, also, hi, Ravishing. I actually did think Jim Carrey was pretty good as the Riddler. I thought Tommy Lee Jones was a little too hammy as Two Face. You know, he took it just a little bit too far. But Jim Carrey was good as the Riddler. Danny DeVito's Penguin. Loved him. Loved Danny DeVito's Penguin. Batman Returns is probably my favorite Batman movie ever. I'll prep most of my stuff for the next 2 months. Do you read the Spider-Man movies? In retrospect, I'm not entirely satisfied with any of them. The Raimi Spider-Man movies, like, Mary Jane was fucking awful. Fucking awful character. Terribly written character. Abysmally written character. But also, like, I don't know. They lack quipping. Yeah, one of the most defining elements of Spider-Man as a character is the fact that he quips a lot during fights. It covers it hides his own fear and also annoys the villains to make them screw up. And I actually don't feel like any of the Spider-Man movies have ever really gotten that. So I can wake it on. I mean, they get along sometimes. But yeah, I don't feel like any of the live action Spider-Man movies have really done that. Even the Holland ones, even the Tom Holland ones. He doesn't really quip during battles. Very jokey, haha, a lot of stuff like that. But not. But it's like it's the same sort of humor that all the Marvel movies have. And not and he's not really quipping during fights. Hey, Braindead. This is a battle, and I'm not quitting either. Yeah, the Raimi Spider-Man movies, Mary Jane was written horribly. Spider-Man didn't really do that much quipping. They benefit a lot, I think, from the fact that there just weren't that many, or that there hadn't been any really great big superhero movies in a while. Yeah, Blade was great, but Blade, is Vampire Hunter. It is he is a superhero, but I mean it's a little bit different. The first Spider-Man movie was the first real big superhero movie in quite a long time. That wasn't outright terrible. First one in a long time that wasn't outright terrible. Comic Credit is Daughter was awesome. Nice. So I think it benefited. I think the Sam Raimi, the first one especially, sort of benefits from that, from the fact that there was just so little else to compare it to. Uh, but like I said, it's in retrospect, I don't think it holds up all that well, and there were definitely problems with it. Soundtrack was Blade was awesome. Soundtrack was good. It's wild that Marvel can't make a new Blade movie. The speculation I've seen is that the reason they're having so much trouble making a new Blade movie is because they're trying to figure out a way to tie it into the MCU, larger MCU. Because everything in the MCU has to be interconnected. They all have to be interconnected. Everything has to connect to everything else. A movie can't just fucking stand on its own. Can't just be a dude killing vampires. It has to be tied into fucking Secret Wars or whatever. Gotta figure out some way to get one of the other superheroes in there. No. What's the point of doing a Blade movie if you can't have fucking Hulk cameo or some shit? Like that's probably why they can't make a Blade movie, is because they're not trying to make a fucking Blade movie. They're trying to make an MCU movie. They're trying to make an MCU movie starring Blade, which is a different thing. If they just got out of their way and said, okay, this dude kills vampires. Boom. You hate superhero movies? I don't know. I don't think you're entirely wrong on that, Buttercup. Yeah, if they just, like, this man kills vampires. Boom. That's all they need. And if they did that, they could get the movie made and it would be great and it would make money. But they can't do that. What they're doing instead is, okay, he hunts vampires, but yeah, how do we connect Shang-Chi to this? Yeah, how do we get Shang-Chi to show up? Hey, Andy. Anyways, yeah, the Raimi Spider-Man movies, not great, not crazy about them. Funnily enough, the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies, probably better movies, honestly. They definitely have some issues. They're still not great movies. But like Gwen Stacy was better written than Mary Jane ever was. You know, Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy is so much better than Kirsten Dunst Mary Jane, which is not a criticism of Kirsten Dunst. She was given jack fucking shit to work with. She did the best with absolutely nothing. But Gwen Stacy was written so much better in the Amazing movies. Also, if you're gonna set in high school, Teenage Peter Parker was an asshole. Buttercup only likes old Disney movies. Peter Parker in high school was an asshole. There's no getting around it. He was a dick. And the Amazing movies went with that angle. Um, Still not a great movie. And then the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies. They all went back to they went back to innocent little cinnamon roll Peter Parker. And a lot more comedy, but still not quipping. MJ was pretty compelling. So yeah, got my pre-premiere party this week for the new release. Marvel films have disappointed me, but still have a lot of DC films. I do feel like if I were still watching if I were still watching Marvel, I feel like the new Spider-Man movie probably wouldn't really excite me much. Mint copy of Main Spider-Man number 298 for experience of Eddie Brock. Ooh, nice. That's pretty cool. I would absolutely not be excited for Doomsday. Spider-Man wrapping papers. Again, like if I were still watching it in the MCU, I would absolutely be not excited by Hulk appearing new Spider-Man. No. Why would that interest me? It was already irritating that the other Spider-Man movies were like the first two were all about Tony fucking Stark. You know, like the first two Spider-Man movies were all about fucking Tony Stark. And then the third one was all about fucking Doctor Strange. You know? What? Do you not think that Spider-Man? Do you think that fucking Spider-Man can't carry his own fucking movie? Without someone else being shoehorned in? Actors being on a time contract has more to do with that than anything. Probably. Yeah. Got to shoehorn the actors in wherever they can get a chance. They got the contract for them, got to use them. Spider-Man comics. He's some of the best villains to fight against. He does. He does have some great villains. He does have a lot of iconic villains. He's got a pretty top-tier rogues gallery. Back Howard the Duck and let Buttercup play Howard. I do feel like you could do a pretty good Howard the Duck animated series about him, like, you know, sort of inspired by the Gerber run. Yeah, Howard the Duck moving to Earth, moving to Cleveland and hating it. Really awesome old Howard comics the other day that I absolutely loved. Like if you were to adapt the Steve Gerber run, you'd probably have to skip the issue that he did while he was in the middle of moving. That was a weird issue. It's like, we just did a reprint issue. We just did one of those. I didn't really, I was missing my deadline, but I didn't want to do another reprint issue. So yeah, here's just random fucking thoughts I had. Thing is, damned if it isn't an amazing issue. Like, damned if it isn't a genuinely really interesting comic. Stream of consciousness comics. Basically, yeah. Because, like, 70s. Like, it was 70s. At a time when deadlines were mostly a suggestion. Marvel was fucking awful for that back then. But yeah, like, they're like 18 issues into the run. And he'd already missed one deadline, which resulted in an issue just having a reprint, like them just publishing a reprint, which is what they would sometimes do whenever they miss a deadline. And he didn't want to do it again. Like he felt that that would just be really shitty to do to the audience, to the readers. Like he felt that that would just be ripping them off. So he didn't want to do that. But there was no way he was going to get like a full comic script out in time. So yeah, what he did instead is he just like wrote some musings, his thoughts on various things, on the fact that he was moving, on life, on comics as a medium, just like all sorts of like really interesting, and like and then the artist just sort of filled the page with whatever. He managed to throw in an obligatory fight scene. And it actually was genuinely like really interesting, really compelling. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. Oh yeah, the 70s Marvel was big on drugs. They were doing a lot of drugs back then. Actually, I suppose 1976, Howard the Duck solo started. So that was after. So he had started, but like he did start after. I think. Shit, was that after Shooter came in and started cracking the whip? Yeah, it was issue number 16 that he did it. Fascinating. Now for picking up Marvel Weird and Old Bones. When did Jim Shooter become editor in chief? $1978. It was 1978 Shooter became editor in chief. So yeah, it was still during Marvel's period where like deadlines didn't exist, writers were their own editors. So it was before Shooter came in and was like, oh no, there's some whip cracking going on. Much as a lot of the creatives hated Jim Shooter for that, like, do your fucking job. Hit the fucking deadlines, dude. And like getting rid of the idea of writers being their own Vulcan the Kingbreaker. Yeah, writers being their own editors was also a really shitty idea. Like, the point of an editor is to have someone to bounce ideas off of. Yeah, you tell them, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do, and they're like, okay, that's good, but what if instead of this you do that? And then the person's like, oh shit, that's brilliant. Like that's the point of an editor. Is to help you improve your comics. If you have no editor, then So I think Shooter did make the right decision ending that practice, and definitely made the right decision enforcing deadlines. That said, I do think that, like, yeah, he did make some bad decisions as well here and there. And he could be a pretty petty prick. His mockery of Steve Gerber in Secret Wars 2, fuck Jim Shooter for that one. They had beef. They did. But, like, it was still really petty and vindictive of the way that Shooter mocked Gerber in Secret Wars 2. I did find it interesting in Civil War 2. The Captain Marvel arc of Civil War 2 brought back that character and handled him, like, in a much more sympathetic manner. You know, Captain Marvel even asked him what was up and, you know, like, what happened back in the day. And he's like, I had a really shitty boss. Just like, brilliant. Right, I'm going to get more water and I'm going to pee. So I'll be back in 2 minutes. We're not back. Hope we get the 2 minutes back. Nope. As we're at our tech shelter. Sure. What I'd like for superpowers mutations? I don't know. To be immortal for as long as I choose. How's that one? Don't have any tonight for the ribbon. I mean, ribbon's optional anyway. You don't actually need to include the ribbon. ADHD insomnia. Yeah. Always ribbon. I mean, like, yeah, I prefer ribbon, but, you know, it's optional. What do you like most about live streaming? When I get money. When I get my paycheck. Birthday's still a few weeks away. Ah. Well, then you're good. Excited for yours this week. What day is it? What day is your birthday? Oh, excited for your paycheck this week. Your birthday's 3rd, August 3rd. All right. I'll try to remember that. $43. August 3rd. Let me check. So next Monday. With your shoulders and chest. Touch a sound box at some point. And the voice line is going to be from Deuce Bigelow. That's a huge bitch. Who would I cast in a movie about my life? Your mom. I guess Uncle Buck's audio was working again. But you can't see the chat now. Well, that's unfortunate. Thanks, my mom's dead. So is my sex life, so it fits. And also my condolences. Weekend with Bernie's. Kind of a dick, Catherine. She traumatized me quite a bit. Deals out, evens out. Well, that's not great. You got one? Yeah, you still got time. All right. Good night, Uncle Buck. In case you lose me again. I'll put my wrap paper away just to take it out. And how long does it take to get the wrapping paper out? Or put it away? Like, how long does it take to put away and get it out? That's what she said. Rolled and organized nice in a bin I keep in my storage closet. Even so, it feels like it can't actually be that big a hassle. But the hassle is just not put away. And it's just chilling in my room or living room. Mine's in a box right outside the closet because if I open the door, the cat will get in there. My wrapping paper doesn't exist. I don't have any. Here's this consists of a bag. Madison as a wrapper. Yo, yo, yo. Never known you need to wrap a gift or box some cookies. Yeah, I just use bags. Can't believe I have to wait weeks to find out if she's pregnant. Yeah. Yeah, you're gonna explode before you find out. While rapping is cathartic. Oh, I fucking hated rapping. I was always terrible at rapping. I hated doing it. I sucked at it. Pregnancy cravings get pretty crazy. Yeah. So I've heard, yeah. Those dudes rap like wine drunk bears in my experience. Yeah. Yeah, I never figured out how to do it. You like origami? Couldn't be me. In your car with the door opened. Probably getting it up all over again. Well, if you're itchy tomorrow, don't listen to any advice Shelly gives you. I mean, the advice he gave her was the advice he given her. First, vinegar, which didn't help her. Second, peeing on it, which no. So, yeah. No itch relief advice from Shelly. Don't listen to itch relief advice from Shelly. I'm sure there's plenty of other things where Shelly is worth listening to. Good night, Catherine. Good night, Dubs. Gotta be Outback pee, and I don't have access to that kind of pee. I see, I see. One of these days we'll go an entire stream without talking about pee. Or without peeing on, or, without talking about peeing on somebody. The type that what else is never going to happen. Yeah, like, I don't want to kink shame. But pitch black out here, you can just hear every generator in town. I have the story, but I'll wait for it next time. It's probably for the best. Because I'm gonna get going. Actually, I might have to poop soon. So thanks for watching. See y'all tomorrow. Good night.